I did give the thumbs up to Rob. You're all set. Rob says we're all good.
Okay, thanks all. I'd like to call the January 16th special meeting of the Select Board to order. We are in Town Hall's Select Board meeting room. We're also on Zoom. We're on RCTV's channels on Verizon Fios and Comcast Xfinity. And we're also on RCTV's YouTube channel. And because we've got members virtual and in person, we'll go ahead and do a roll call vote, start in the meeting room in the order I see you, Karen.
Yes.
Wait, roll call that we're here.
I'm here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry.
thanks. Chris?
Yes, and I noticed your microphone has an X through it, so I don't know what the deal is, Jackie.
I'm on 2 devices.
Oh,
Yeah,
multitasking. Okay, thank you.
yes.
Yes.
Carlo?
Yes.
Okay, Jackie, yes.
And Mark didn't say yes, but yes, I'm here too.
Thank you. Okay, so we just have one agenda item tonight, and so I will turn it over to Bernie Lynch from Community Paradigm, our consultant, to give us an announcement about finalists for the town manager position and walk us through next steps. So Bernie, take it away, please. You're muted, Bernie.
You're muted, Bernie.
Sorry about that. I'm just going to share my screen to help me, if not you, sort of walk through where we've been, where we are, and where we're going with regards to this search. So let me throw this up, this quick PowerPoint. And what's that? So here we are. The purpose of tonight's meeting, obviously, is to bring the board up to speed on who the town manager finalists are in anticipation of your making a decision, conducting interviews and making a decision sometime in the next couple of weeks, probably. Just to give you and to give the public who are tuned in and watching this sort of a sense of how this process all unfolded. We were engaged by the town on the 25th of October, and as you know, as board members, as is our process, we don't come in, even though we're certainly familiar with Reading. We didn't come in and just assume that we knew everything about Reading and what you needed for your town manager. We came in, we spent time talking to the board members. We got feedback from other stakeholders in the town, including conducting a community forum, which we had a number of participants, with the idea being that we would get a sense of the current community priorities and what you're looking for attributes from your next town manager. So what the candidates should be as we begin our search. And we spent, as you know, quite a bit of time speaking with each one of you through interviews and Zoom calls. And with all of that information, we updated the position profile, which we think is an important document for us in order to market the position, but also for the screening committee and for you as you go through the process of making your selection, sort of step back and look and say, okay, this is what we said we were looking for. What in fact do we find in these candidates that most closely aligns with the ideas or ideals that we set forth within this document? So we got that up, and we were out after you approved that document, I believe on November 13th or 14th. We began our real active recruitment. Certainly we had done some initial calls and spoke to some people before that, but in terms of the formal recruitment process, we posted the position, started distributing it on November 14th. We posted it at the Municipal Association. We posted it on the International City and County Management Association, both their job boards. We also posted it at various graduate public administration programs that have alumni wandering around the region that are interested in positions in local government. We distributed to various organizations that representing department heads and other people within the state that we felt should be made aware of this. And then we used our own database. We, as you know from speaking with us in the past, we have a database of now about 400 individuals, all of the members of the Massachusetts Municipal Management Association. But in addition to that, individuals that we've been working with either through other searches or are currently employed elsewhere that have indicated to us that they might be interested in being a town manager here in the Commonwealth. You know, and it goes beyond that, beyond just Massachusetts, but throughout the country, that people who have contacted us through our website, we've identified and put on our list as people that we want to reach out to let them know about any position that becomes available. And in particular, we have specific candidates that we're aware of that we think might be the right fit for a community. And in this case, the right fit for Reading. So we did do extensive candidate specific outreach in which we went beyond just the normal postings and emails that went out. But as you would hope, I would think, we actually reached out to a number of candidates and said, okay, here's a job. We think this might be the right fit for you, that we've been talking to, and maybe other jobs weren't the right fit. We're big enough, we're too big, but in this case, Reading would be just right. And so we did all of that to actually go out and find you candidates with a deadline of December 15th. We met with the screening committee on December 18th, and we reviewed the 19 applicants that had submitted resumes. 19 is a number that, you know, I think probably when we met with you early on, we indicated that we thought that Reading would get somewhere between 20 and 25 candidates. We were just below that at 19. That's consistent actually with a recent search, a relatively recent search that we did last about a year ago now, I guess, for the town of Arlington. It's pretty consistent with what we're seeing, and why we were, you know, maybe a little bit on the lower side than we had anticipated. But I think I indicated in our initial meetings that there's been quite a bit of turnover up in the Reading area. A number of communities are relatively newly appointed managers. And so you were going to have that issue that you were going to be grappling with. That being said, I was very pleased, and I think the screening committee, I hope the screening committee was pleased with the candidates that they did look at, because we actually had 11 viable candidates. And usually I give when we look at this, we generally see in most pools, basically third. A third are qualified, very viable. A third have some experience in municipal government, or it might be suitable for a manager position, and a third have no business. Well, I shouldn't say no business, but they really don't have the applicable skills to transfer over. In the case of the pool that we had, I felt that we had 11 really strong, viable candidates, but obviously some are stronger than others. And the screening committee, after reviewing the resumes, talking about the candidates, getting the information from us, as well as some members of the screening committee that were familiar with some of the candidates and what they knew about those communities, identified 6 very, very strong candidates that they wanted to come in for interviews. And we conducted those interviews with the screening committee on the second and third, and the committee assessed the candidates basically on Reading specific municipal experience and knowledge. And what I mean by that is the types of experience and knowledge that one would expect or need to have for the town manager position in Reading. So they looked at that and said, okay, after interviewing the candidates, yes, they have the experience with regards to project management. They have experience with regards to finance, or experience with community engagement, that that checks enough boxes that they should be moved on to the finalist stage. Also looked at the style attributes, beyond just the municipal experience and knowledge. What type of style, the communication style that they have, what type of leadership style that they display within the interview, and based upon what we could see in discussing the position with the candidates. And from this, 4 finalists were selected for presentation to the select board. In no order other than alphabetical. The first candidate is Antonio Barletta, Tony Barletta. Tony has a master's degree from UMass Boston in public affairs, a bachelor's degree from Endicott College in criminal justice. He's been the town administrator in the town of Nahant for the last 5+ years. This was his first town administrator position, and I'll let Tony speak to, when you interview him, speak to the experience he had of coming into that community with the issues that he was grappling with in Nahant at that particular time. Prior to that, he served in 2 positions of responsibility in state government as Director of Government Affairs, one being the Department of Energy Resources, and the other being the Department of Conservation and Recreation. Interestingly enough, both of these obviously have applicability to the town of Reading, given your municipal utility, as well as what you're looking to do with the green energy program, and the conservation and recreation. Although there isn't necessarily DCR property in Reading, there is open space and recreation conservation lands is an issue and have been identified as a priority with a number of people in discussing the issues of the town of Reading. Prior to that, he served in the Massachusetts legislature for a state representative, committee chair, in which he was the staff director and research analyst. That is your first candidate, Tony Barletta. Second candidate is Matt Coogan. Matt has a master's degree in urban planning from Hunter College, a Bachelor of Arts in anthropology and philosophy from the University of Maryland. He's currently the town administrator in the town of Boxford, position he's held for coming up on 3 years. Prior to that, he served as the chief of staff to the mayor of Newburyport, in which he was responsible for operational issues within Newburyport. In Essex, Mass, he served as a town planner for approximately 7 years, during which he also served in Newburyport with he served in both communities with the permission of both communities. Essex, as you know, is a very small community and just needed some planning assistance. Likewise, when he was in the town of the city of Salem as senior planner, and Gloucester, where he was also a senior planner from 2013 to 2017. Matt has, again, particular relevancy to Reading. In all of these positions, certainly in town administrator, he has served in the lead role of managing the operations of that community. Likewise within Newburyport. In Newburyport, he had extensive experience working with the business community within the city, and of course, growth, urban development or downtown development, and planning is a key issue within the town of Reading. So many of his skills that he honed in those positions were deemed to have a real applicability to the town of Reading and the town manager position. Matt Cronellis, a name that certainly should be familiar to you, you know it is current assistant town manager in the town of Reading, has his law degree from Suffolk University, a bachelor's degree in English from Merrimack College. As you know, he's currently the assistant town manager since 2022, and prior to that, he served 7 years as the director of administrative services. Prior to that, he was with Consumer Affairs and Business Regulation in the state as deputy chief of staff to the undersecretary, and prior to that, he was the chief of staff to the mayor of Methuen. Again, serving in an operational role there within the city, assisting the mayor in that management of that city. Obviously, Matt has experience with the Reading organization, has been involved in a number of projects within the town, and the screening committee felt that he too had the Reading specific experience that clearly that he could bring to the task, and has been involved in a number of issues and working with the departments on operational issues, and felt that he too could come to the position and should be interviewed. And then lastly, Clancy Main. Clancy has a master's degree from in public administration from UMass Lowell. Likewise, a bachelor's degree in political science from UMass Lowell. He's currently the assistant town manager in Billerica, a community of about 45,000 people, roughly 45,000 people nearby. He served prior to that in the Director of Administrative Services role there. And you'll see from his resume, and I'll be sending, as soon as we get off, I'm going to be pushing a button and sending all these resumes off to you so you can read about what each one of these candidates brings to the position. And so the Director of Administrative Services in Billerica is a little bit different than the Director of Administrative Services in Reading, to be able to see what projects he was involved with. And then before that, he was a budget and management analyst for the town of Billerica. So he moved up from 2017 to 2024. He's moved up through the organization into the current position. In Littleton, he was the executive assistant to the town administrator, a position he held for just a number of months until the Billerica town manager brought him on board there. But in Littleton, he was involved with the Green Communities program, as well as a number of other aspects of their operation. And prior to that, he served for Councilor Chiamo at Boston City Council as chief of staff for a couple of years. Clancy comes in with extensive project management experience, been involved in a number of facility projects in the town of Billerica, has also been responsible for, he essentially serves as the, I think he refers to it as the almost the mini manager or mini executive. The town manager includes Clancy in all of the day-to-day operations of the town, where he sits at the bargaining table with a number of all of the unions, is the lead in some, while the manager is lead in others, involved in those, running those facility projects, has also been actively engaged with a number of economic development initiatives and working with businesses within the community, and also involved with a number of green communities programs, as well as other grant efforts within the town. So again, very specific Reading experience that was deemed worthy of bringing to the board. I will say that just to go over a little bit of where we were with each one of these before we start with next steps. In the packet that you will be receiving from me, you'll be getting the cover letters that they sent, the resumes that they sent. You'll also be getting a reference report from each individual. For each individual, we have spoken to the references for all of the candidates. Typically, we aren't asked to do reference checks on internal candidates. However, we felt it was valuable to bring that information to you regarding Mr. Cornelis. So we do have some background information, some reference information there from the former mayor of Methuen, as well as two managers that Matt has served with, to give their perspectives. We've also conducted query checks of each one of the individuals, done the social media or internet research on the various individuals. The one issue that I'll bring to your attention, and we were aware of this going into the screening committee as well, and the screening committee wanted to move forward with an interview, and in fact, and then as you'll be able to see, they went through it and has brought the candidate forward as a candidate for you. Mr. Coogan, Matt Coogan, was involved in an accident a little over a year ago, in which he was charged with operating under the influence, and it was determined to be it was identified as a first offense, and that's what he was cited for, as a first offense OUI. It was continued without a finding. We were aware, the screening committee was aware of this going in, and wanted to see how it was handled by the candidate. And the candidate was right up front with the issue, and I'll let him speak for himself when he interviews with you, but took responsibility, admitted the errors that he had made, and the learning experience that it became in the fabric of his life, and is prepared to do the same with the board. But again, all 4 candidates come in with extensive experience, knowledge, and styles that seem to match up very well with what the town of Reading is looking for. In terms of next steps, we do have what we'll refer to as the Reading immersion that we're working on for next week with these candidates, in which they will come to the town. We have to coordinate this with each one of them to have them meet with for a brief period with the department heads and assistants in those departments, and also scheduling some time, probably via Zoom, with the school superintendent to be brought up to speed on the relationship there, but also the school building project. So they'll be spending time, with people in Reading next week. The interview date that has been set is January 27th. I will be getting you out a set of interview topics that we can go over, or you can get back to me with your feedback. But what I'm proposing for topics, very similar to what the screening committee did, but with the full board this time, and with some new perspectives, I'm sure, from Jackie and Mark, is looking at their career overview, having them walk people through how they got into this business and what motivates them to be a town manager, their specific interest in Reading, how does Reading tie in with their career, their leadership and management style, how they function within the organization and outside of the organization, how they communicate and collaborate. And of course, that's tied in with management style. Financial management, in terms of their experience preparing municipal budgets and what guides them in their financial management strategies. You do have a number of capital projects going on within the town. The senior center project, the school project. I know there's some recreation land projects and other issues taking place that you want someone that has some experience in those areas. So want to get a feel for their background in those areas. Planning and development and economic development, how they interact with small businesses, how they would be involved in the type of development and growth that would be applicable to the town, in which the community character would be retained. But we all know that development does occur within communities. Some desired, some less so, but we want to make sure that they have some knowledge of those areas. Human resources and labor relations, and how they motivate their employees and retain employees. That was identified as an issue by a number of board members as we developed the profile. Diversity, equity, and inclusion, which has been identified as an issue in almost every community we work with now, and certainly has been in the town of Reading. Community engagement. This, of course, was a priority for the board in its last search, as well as brought forward in this search. Someone who's truly engaged in the communities that they operate. And we're interested in seeing how they intend to execute on that in the town of Reading. Their external relationships, how they interact not only within the town organization and within the town, but how they interact with the various organizations of the town, how they interact with state government, other municipalities, institutions that may have some impact upon the town of Reading. And then last but obviously not least, how they intend to interact with the select board members, how they see roles and responsibilities, and how they would actually work to make sure that there's adequate communication with board members. So that's the 4 candidates that you have, the process that was executed to bring you to this point. And I think you have 4 good, viable, very strong candidates to choose from.
Okay, thank you, Bernie. Before I open it up to other board members with questions or comments, just want to clarify one thing and expand on one thing. First, the screening committee interviewed 7, not 6 candidates on January 2nd and 3rd. Just a correction, it's okay.
Sorry.
And then just a little more for select board members and members of the public. Those interviews on Saturday, January 27th will begin at 9 a.m. in the select board meeting room and also on Zoom and RCTV. And so thank you, Bernie, for walking us through this, both the candidates and our next steps. So I'll turn it over to other board members. Do you have questions or comments?
Carlo.
Oh, thanks. Thanks, everybody. Sorry, I've had a cold for a few weeks, so I apologize if I cough. Of the three, I'm not including Matt Cornelis, obviously. Of the 3 candidates, what form of town meeting government does Nahant, Boxford, and Billerica have? Open or elected?
Billerica has representative town meeting, Nahant has open town meeting, and Boxford has open town meeting.
So Nahant and Boxford open, and then Billerica, okay.
Correct.
All right, that was just my, there'll be lots of questions obviously on that Saturday, but I was just curious about that. Not that it's a big deal, but there's a little bit nuances to both forms. That's it for me right now. Maybe more after other my colleagues ask questions.
Okay, thanks, Carlo. Others in the room? Chris.
Thank you. And thanks, Bernie. Just a clarification, or I assume town administrator is the same as town manager, it's just different lingo, or is there a bigger aspect to that?
It's increasingly, or the short answer is yes, it's the same. It's different lingo. There was a time in which town administrator was seen as having less responsibilities and less authorities, but it really depends upon how the charter or special act is written. There are some town administrators that have greater authority in certain areas than typical town managers. And then, of course, there are times in which the town administrator has less. So it really varies from charter to charter how the positions compare.
Thank you.
The best example I can give to that is, and that I use quite a bit, is we were doing a search one time for a community in which they had what they considered to be a strong town manager. But in fact, the town manager had less appointment authority of various positions than the town administrator that they ended up hiring for the position.
Thanks.
Karen.
Thank you, Jackie. I was wondering if, I'm gonna assume you sort of had discussions about how much notice these candidates would need to give to their current employers?
We did not. We have not had that discussion.
Oh, okay.
We can find that out, but I think that generally, I will say this: generally, people are always concerned about that, but communities, by and large, are mostly interested in the finding the best candidate rather than the fastest candidate. But most of these candidates have a 30 to 60 day notice period. Obviously, in the case of a couple of these, they're not they're probably not operating under contracts, and the others would have 30 to 60.
Okay, that's really what I wanted to understand, whether anyone had a very long contract that we should be aware of. Okay, thank you.
Mark.
Thanks, Jackie. So thanks, Bernie. I think that from my perspective, the process went very well. We had some very good candidates, I think, that we brought forward here. I think the process we used, and there's a member of the committee, another member of the committee in the background here, was really good. We had a lot of diverse opinions, we had different backgrounds, we had different things that I think each of us was asking about and interested in. And it made for some robust discussions and kind of thinking about how to proceed, and to make sure that we brought forward folks, I think that, as Bernie said, all are good candidates. They have some different strengths between them. And the interviews that we'll all get a chance to do on that Saturday will, I think, be very helpful in kind of making sure that we're finding what we're looking for in those activities. So I think from my perspective, the process was good. I think we're coming with some great folks, and look forward to the chance to interview them more and then talk with my colleagues about who the right person is going to be to make an offer to. Thanks.
And if I could, Jackie, I'm
I
glad.
picked up on the 7. I thought it was 7, and I was going through as I was preparing the PowerPoint for today. I was going through the list, and you were correct. It was 7. There was another candidate we looked at that was from a, and this actually is applicable to Chris's question. It was a community that is very small with a town administrator that had very, very limited authority. In fact, that was why she was looking to move out of that community. So I'm glad we were able to correct that and actually use that as a good example to address Chris's concern or question.
Sure. Thanks, Bernie. Any other questions or comments from board members? Karen and then Carlo?
Oh, sorry. I was wondering if we could, before we finish up tonight, we could talk a little bit about any discussions you've had about what the Reading immersion process is gonna look like, how it might differ from last time, or that's it?
It's basically the same.
Last time. The only difference being we won't be doing I don't think we're going to be doing a formal tour of the town as we did last time. We're going to let the candidates know, sort of what they should be looking at perhaps, but it's the same, meet with the department heads, meet with the school superintendent. So the immersion is basically the same.
Okay, I'm not sure that. I've spoken to a number of department heads, assistant department heads who weren't involved in the process last time. Sharon Engstrom. So I would love us to go a little bit deeper and broader this time. Since, it'll be whoever the final candidate is, it'll be a team building exercise. I think the team deserves an opportunity to meet them. Thank you.
Carlo?
Thanks. I mean, I don't want to say I know the answer, but Nahant and Boxford, I'm guessing their budget is what, half of ours or even less?
It's probably less. It's probably less than so. But if I could respond to that, the skills associated with these positions. First off, is in the case of Boxford, it was you have to look not only at Boxford, but you have to also look at the experience in Newburyport and the other skills that come through with the planning responsibilities, development responsibilities, and their knowledge of municipal government beyond just the size of the budgets. Management, understanding municipal management and management itself, are skills that can transcend just the size of a budget. In the case of Nahant, in that particular case, not only is there the issue of management of the budget, but it's the complexities of essentially managing an island and all of the challenges that come with that that speak to management skills. And in addition to that, in the case of Nahant, and again, I don't want to necessarily speak on behalf of any one candidate, but in the case of Nahant, there were some serious financial issues that had to be remedied very quickly, and the candidate from Nahant stepped in, and that in fact is one of the issues that a number of the references spoke to that including people who are have worked for the Division of Local Services and State Department of Revenue. It spoke to the strengths that that candidate brought in handling that function.
No, thank you, and I'm sure in the face-to-face interviews, a lot of this will come out. You know, and I'm guessing Bill Ricca is somewhat comparable to us.
The work is larger.
Larger, okay, all right, yeah. Again, it's not going to be a sticking point for me because everything is relative. I totally understand.
Right.
Managing is managing. You know,
Right.
where I'm speaking for myself, but I think, you know, knowing Peter on the fringes, you know, knowing Bob and then knowing Fidel, you know, very, very different styles there on all three. So it's going to be, you know, nice to get them face to face and, you know, let them speak and see how they answer the questions. And I agree with you, Bertie. It's about experience. It's about budgets, financial acumen. You know, we have very healthy cash reserve right now. I'm always trying to preserve that as much as possible, like the rest of us. So I look forward to the 27th. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, well. Thank you, Bernie. Appreciate you again walking us through all of this. And so if there are no other items from board members, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Thanks, Karen. Is there a second?
Second.
Thanks, Mark. Okay, I'll start with a roll call vote in the room. Karen?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
Chris?
Yes.
Carlo?
Yes.
Jackie? Yes. Okay, we are adjourned. Thanks all. Good night.
Thank you, Bernie.
Thanks, folks.
Thank you.